but looks like we won't have to wait anymore. Let's get right into the draft. No Tetris here. It's going to be a Thresh. First ban for the side of Big Bird Club.
Yeah, no Tetris here. That you're right. The Thresh is the first ban. Obviously, they want to prioritize making sure that their bot lane has some advantages moving into this game. Big Bird Club does have pretty skilled laners all the way around. Bush Wookies answers in kind that with the ban to Mbesa want to limit some of the top lane options available. You know, who do you think the draft, considering the how the meta has formed thus far this week, how do you think the draft is going to go? Do you think these teams are really looking to focus and prioritize in certain lanes, maybe a top jungle combo or mid jungle combo, or do you think that we're going to see some prioritization towards the bot lanes for once?
Well, BBC definitely prioritizing that bot lane. They're picking the Smolder up first, and they banned out 3 supports, 2 tanks and an enchanter. So it definitely seems like they want to focus on that bottom side. Bushwookie is kind of a little more all over the place. Jungle and top bans as well as 1 mid ban. So I'm definitely I think these teams are prioritizing a little bit different lanes, and we know that Melon is a very strong support. So I'm a little surprised to see how many bans came out for the bot lane from the side of Big Bird Club.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this really indicates that they have a strong identity of how they want to play the game. They want to make sure that their bot side has an easy time, allows the smolder to scale just that much easier as long as you can limit the kind of supports that you have to deal with. That being said, I don't really see Janna as a support that I would really be banning if I planned on playing Smolder. Just doesn't really seem like something that's going to make it too difficult to play the game. Although that being said, I think it does allow your team to, or does give your team rather, a lot of survivability. There's a lot of disengage, so Smolder may have a hard time closing the gap. That being said, Nico picked up for Big Bird Club. That is support that we don't often see in the league.
Yeah, so Smolder and Nico are going to be inhabiting that bot lane against the Jinx, and I'm really interested to see what Bush Wookiees does pick up for their support pick. They did pick the Xin Zhao, though, and I'm definitely interested to see how that plays out, especially to Jarvan. Xin is a very aggressive, strong jungler early, and I really want to see Bush Wookiees kind of get some good ganks going early. Try to get that bot lane of Big Bird Club behind, especially as long as you can keep the Smolder down, or try to keep him down for as long as possible, keep him from getting his stacks. Definitely makes it more difficult for the side of Big Bird Club to scale up and have that strong power that Smolder is known for. So the Nautilus here definitely going to be a very good pickup alongside with the Jinx to kind of help make that happen.
Yes, I definitely agree there. And for those of you who cannot see the name, Bushwookies elected to pick Xin Zhao as pick 2. The graphic is just not appearing because Drafter, similarly to League of Legends, is owned and operated by a company that has an insane budget. Jarvan as a jungler for Big Bird Club is a kind of a problem for Jinx. Jinx obviously having no escape tools to be able to get away from that Jarvan, and I think it does pair very well with the Nico. So some really strong engage by the side of Big Bird Club. That being said, Bushwookies have some good engage on their own, although I wouldn't say is as strong in team fights. It is still very good for the single target picks. Not of course having his flag and drag, his anchor drag. Xin Zhao, of course, having the dash and the knockup. These are both great tools. And more mid laners banned for the side of Big Bird Club. So going to be interesting to see what they pick in response to this Victor that was picked up for Bushwookies. So pretty standard mid laners so far.
Yeah, definitely a good pickup.
Ziggs going to be a
Early.
mid smolder.
Yeah, that's an interesting pickup. I don't personally think that Ziggs mid is really strong right now, but it does still have some of the similar powers that it will have in ADC. It is really good at clearing waves and especially clearing turrets. So Ziggs still a pretty decent pickup. I just don't think it's gonna be great into Victor personally.
Yeah, I would be interested to see where they plan on sticking that Ziggs. Smolder and Ziggs could be lane swapping. We could see a Ziggs AD carry for the first time in the league, it feels like. It's definitely a good champion in both roles, but yeah, against Victor, it seems like it could be a little bit tough. And the Gnar, of course, picked up as an answer to Cho'Gath. So I think that Hooli is going to have a great time in this top lane against Cho'Gath. I feel like Gnar has a great time.
But Smolder really just wants to kind of survive and build up stacks in this particular lane. So I want to see Tempo get some early stuff off. I really want to see him put some work in, make sure that he can get a couple of kills on that Smolder, because it's going to be his job to make sure that that Smolder does not scale.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if the Smolder scales to infinity and doesn't have much opposition, it's going to be a really rough go for Bush Wookiees. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely a goal that they have to have in mind. Likewise, they do have some scaling of their own. I feel like Jinx is definitely no pushover, and it's something that we should keep an eye on throughout the game. Tempo, of course, the Victor does scale as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely wants to scale up his passive and get as many. The early kills will help quite a bit more on Victor than they will on Smolder. So that's another reason why I want to see some of that early prio in the mid lane here.
Yeah, definitely agree. Looks like top lane is gonna just go how it goes. Inbred loser is probably gonna take a lot of damage from the Gnar over time, just through the bangerang and the auto attacks and all that good stuff. Gonna keep Gnar nice and safe for the most part, unless he pushes too far, in which case Save the Fishes might have a bit of a target on his head.
Yeah, Huli definitely known for his Gnar. It's one of the champions he really likes to play. Ooh, good level 2 from the bot lane here. Sunny Waffle taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, took a lot of damage there. Bit more damage than
Chrissy doing a
Go ahead.
Chrissy's doing a good job of poking him out as well. I really like to see the Jinx use that extra range early on.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's surprising that they were able to actually win that trade so easily. I guess it does make sense. Shigataki doesn't have the clone yet, so can't really avoid any of the engage damage. Remember, Loser taking a lot of damage there as well.
Yeah, speaking of the damage, Shigataki does land a binding onto Chrissy though, and that poke is going to be annoying. But if you look at the health pools for both sides, both Sunny Waffle and Chicken Thuggy have taken a lot of poke, where MZC is really, really healthy, and if they can use that correctly and Jinx can kind of use some of that range, I think we might be looking at an early kill in the bottom lane here.
Yeah, definitely I could see that happening. 1 second, I'm just going to adjust the audio, turn it up a little bit for the audience. I'll do a little bit more. There we go.
Aside from that, some pretty stock standard routes for both junglers here. It looks like Tacos is going to be a little bit slower on that initial clear, but will still manage to get the bot lane scuttle here.
Yeah, not too much I think is going to happen in this game in the early stages. I feel like both of these teams don't really have the greatest amount of burst and engage and damage tools to be able to get too much going. We're going to really have to wait and to see what happens at level 6, in my opinion.
Well, it looks like Tacos is looking to make an early move on the Seafill here.
Yep, he just flaps his wings and is able to sidestep all the damage. Huli, on the other hand, gets ganked by Save the Fishes, but is able to just walk away, so nothing will happen up there. I really think this is going to be quite a slow game. I mean, even both junglers are electing to, rather than invading fairly early, they're just going to clear their respective jungle paths. That being said, 3 Tacos got both scuttles, so definitely going to have a lead there in EXP and gold.
Yeah, it's slightly surprising as Save the Fishes was on that top lane scuttle and Tacos was behind on his blue clear. He was trying to finish off the blue as Save the Fishes had already recalled, so I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it's definitely going to be nice for him to have that extra XP.
Trying to look at builds.
I do also think you were saying that you expect this to be a slow early game. I definitely think that Bush Wookiees does not want to do that though. The slow early game is, I think, going to benefit far more the scaling or the team with more scaling, and so I'd like to see them do a little bit more in this early game. I know that Tacos has already ganked at least once, but I really want to see him getting aggressive.
Yeah, it almost feels like you would need MZC to rotate with 3 Tacos into Save the Fishes jungle just to try to get some ganks off there, try to counter jungle a bit, and get some leads going around the solo lanes. Because, yeah, I feel like if Okay, maybe have some engagement in the middle, but we do not. Save the Fish is just going to walk on out of there. But yeah, I agree. The longer this game goes with no action, BBC is going to love that. They're total fans of a passive game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think MCC rotating around is going to be good. We just need to see some real safe play from the side of Cruci. If his ADC is, or if his jungler's, excuse me, if his support is going to leave his lane.
Yep, 3 Tacos is here, but so is Save the Fishes. They are very close, and neither of them are aware of either position. So this is going to be quite interesting. Flash in by MCC.
Going for the flash forward.
Yeah, Sunny Waffles has to flash as well, but takes the ignite. So 3 Tacos now being flashed on and flag and dragged. Save the Fishes will just walk on out of there after 3 Tacos uses his flash. So at the end of the day, ignite and flash burn for MCZ, flash burn for 3 Tacos just for a flash from Sunny Waffles. I think if you're BBC, you're more than happy with that trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Up on the trades from the side of BBC, and Huli up on his trade up here against Inbred Loser. This Cho'Gath is not having a fun time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get any better. He's probably going to get that Black Cleaver first item, and then it becomes really tough because now Inbred Loser can't really itemize to stop that poke. It's kind of the same thing that you see in the Malphite lane, although the Malphite has the slight advantage of being able to just straight up build armor and that's it, whereas Cho'Gath will have to get some kind of damage item down the road.
Yep. Speaking of advantage, though, Save the Fish is using his level 6 advantage over Tacos to try and make some plays happen around the rafters.
Yeah.
Chicken Thuggy is here as well.
3 Tacos did get that raptor, so that's good news for them. But concerning that there's more aggression coming from the passive team than from the team with Xin Zhao and Nautilus and Gnar.
Yeah, MCC doing a real good job of zoning Sunny Waffle off of these minions, but man, that Q has some really long range, and he already has the Lost Chapter. He can basically spam this as much as he wants, and there's not really a whole lot that MCC and Cruci can do about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am just really hoping that we get to see more secret ganks by Chicken Thuggy.
Yeah, I would love to see if this Tempo can count his minions, because my goodness, when I was playing against Glacier in houses a couple weeks ago, I certainly could not. So, oh, Sunny Waffle.
Yeah, was doing a little secret agent work. Managed to
Did get discovered by the Nautilus ulti though, so it kind of didn't work out in his favor, but it definitely almost did.
Yeah. I'm a little confused. Was it just me, or was there a visual bug where we could not see Chicken Thuggy for a while?
Oh no, we could see Chicken Thuggy. It just was only on the minimap.
Interesting. Okay. So that's odd that that's how the spectate client works. Something that we need to keep in mind if there's a Nico in the future.
For sure. Tempo, though, getting aggressive on the C-Fill. This could be actually really bad for C-Fill. He's in a bit of a rough spot here. Already called mom and has to try and run away here.
Yeah. Has to burn his ultimate just to survive. Good news is that he's roughly around the same health as Tempo, although Tempo will get that shield back. Save the Fishes going to dive in with the ultimate. Immediately does a ton of burst damage to Tempo, which follows up by C-Fill getting the first blood. But Inbred Loser as well, killing Huli in the top side. That is not how that lane's supposed to go.
Yeah, this is a really rough start from the side of Bush Wookiees. Tempo not having that flash, and so Save the Fishes just knows, all right, Drake has gone down. Tacos wants to go back into his jungle and farm, and I have the perfect opportunity to just come here and help one of my scaling laners out. And we'll do so very effectively.
Yeah, C-Phil's going to be more than happy with that first blood. I mean, hey, he's the scaling champion, right? He's the person that's supposed to be playing passively until late game, but that doesn't even matter if you have so much gold given to you in the early to mid sections of the game that you can just purchase your items early. So he's already walking the lane with an Essence Reaver. That's a ton of burst damage already on the Smolder.
Yeah, I definitely think once you get that first Sheen, you're allowed to play a lot more aggressively in the lane, but You still have to be a little bit careful because your mana pool is still pretty limited. Once you have that Essence Reaver, though, you can kind of go ham. Your ability cooldowns are pretty low. Your mana pool is pretty massive at that point, and it's just going to get more and more rough for the side of Tempo. He's not going to be able to make nearly as much happen in this lane, and that's a little bit of a worry here.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough road. And, you know, it's only going to get better if they can start communicating, maybe move around the objectives faster. They do have the first dragon, which is good to note.
Seafill is going to walk back into that gravity field, though, and will have to flash away. Does use Mom once again, but...
Yeah. No, good little
Tempo's
trade.
still putting out a lot of damage onto Seafill, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, definitely. Red Loser looking like he's confidently trading with Hooli. Takes a lot of damage from those Swarple spikes. That's pretty crazy. It's always concerning when a tank champion that builds nothing but like health and armor and steel class boots is able to just still do massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, and it's going to be really frustrating for the Gnar as well, especially if he's in melee range and does silence. Tacos is down here. Oh, Cruci. Not able to land that ultimate.
Yeah, Chicken Thuggy going in for the ultimate. He catches MCZ, but MCZ has an excellent anchor to get out of there. So an
that
ult
was a
used
great buffer.
Yeah, ult used by Chicken Thuggy, but MCZ with some quick reactions is able to negate the ultimate entirely. And Red Loser looking like he wants to do some more damage. Sunny Waffle might get caught here. There's TP coming in.
Though.
Yeah, Smolder's TPing in. Does have some range. Does not have the ultimate. So they will end up being completely safe under their tower. There's no one that can actually reach out and touch them. But Save the Fishes looks like he is looking for more. Tempo doing some burst damage or laying down some laser fire. Trying to dissuade BBC from entering their jungle, but it's not going to do much at all. They're still going to venture in there and possibly would look to take camps.
It looks like there's not a whole lot of camps up on that blue side, so not a whole lot to take, but jungle flash for ADC flash, and that'll feel pretty good, I think, from the side of Bush Wookiees. You definitely want that very immobile laner to not be able to do pretty much any, or flash away from those hooks. So, ooh, speaking of flash trades.
Yeah. Flash
Trade of flashes.
Tempo's looking for more, though, but he's going to take so much burst damage from the Mama's ultimate. That's insane. Seafill seemingly with the damage coming out of nowhere. It obviously, Tempo was not expecting it either. And by the hair of his chinny chin chin, barely survives. Seafill pushing this tower, knowing that 3 Tacos is topside, but we do have MCZ looking to make a gank here. He should be able to grab and take out the shutdown.
Yeah, a very good roam from the side of MZC and a little bit agreed coming out from the side of Seafill, but that is going to be a little bit rough. Victor has his first item, wasn't able to get that gravity field to stun just yet, and I really think Victor is a bit of a tough champion to play because you do have CC, but it's kind of dependent on either someone else setting you up or your enemy laner being a little bit on the stupid side, and it can be really hard to actually get that stun off. I do want to see real quick. So Victor currently has 85 stacks. He has upgraded the E first, which is what you're normally supposed to go. So I'm very curious to see what he upgrades next because I personally...
That's his laser, correct?
Yes, that is his laser. And
Okay.
I want to see him upgrade his slow next. I really think that his slow is going to be so essential, especially for some of these team fights we're about to see break out.
Yeah, Cruci getting jumped on and immediately falls. That's your big damage dealer. That's not looking good for the side of Bush Wookiees. Save the Fishes. It's deep into the back line, trying to do as much damage as he can. Eventually, Tempo will fall along with 3 Tacos and MCZ. It's an absolute massacre for the side of BBC. They are looking very good after that fight, and they're going to take the Dragon as their consolation prize. Oh, man, it was so rough of beginning for Bush Wookiees. They had the positioning, but they just got funneled into that small little bush in the river.
Yeah, and you kind of see exactly what BBC's team comp is meant to do, right? The ultimate, the Cataclysm coming out from the Jarvan on top of the ultimate coming out, the Pop Blossom coming out from Chicken Thuggy, like that combo is just so difficult to avoid. And Cruci having used the flash right in front of Jarvan in order to reposition and not get away from that Cataclysm means that he just has no options.
Yeah, it almost felt like instead of just sitting on Dragon, they should have turned, whether that's to the left or right, and just dedicated to actually engage onto BBC, but instead they just get completely collapsed on. And the last thing you want to do against a team that BBC has drafted, right, with this Jarvan and this Neeko, is be grouped up, because at that point, Neeko's going to get multi-man ultimates, and Jarvan's going to get multiple knockups, and the ultimate, of course, just crushes Cruci, and there's really no answer. So Cruci possibly out of position there, but obviously wanted to be close enough to do some damage to the Dragon. That being said, Tempo is taking so much damage here. He might even fall.
Yeah, Tacos is here to protect his mid laner, and Seafield does take a lot of damage in return. Can't really follow up that particular kill, but Sunny Waffle trying to look for the Kobe over the top does not quite manage to get that kill.
Yeah,
It's a good look from them, and they will get this first turret mid.
I thought the Comet might have come through and got the last little hit of health there. That would have been so sad.
Yeah, that definitely would have been rough for Tempo. He did opt to go for that Q secondary, so he will have the additional movement speed. And I understand why people like that early. It's a very good kiting tool. Speaking of kiting, Bread Loser is going to need to kite this one out.
Yeah, Hooli needs to be paying attention. He needs to understand that there's no reason why Inbred Loser would actually play like that unless he had some friends nearby. But Hooli says, I've got some friends of my own. But Chicken Thuggy is here. Secret Agent Man going to work. Inbred Loser immediately eats 3 tacos. He's dead. MCZ might be the next target. He's rooted up, and he's going to fall as well. The Chicken Thuggy, Hooli, if he's not careful, might just fall here as well. But he pops the ultimate just in time. Oh, man, it's just disaster after disaster. But here is Tempo looking to make a difference. Let's see if he can do anything at all. But I think immediately Save the Fishes being in his face is enough to scare him off. Seafield's looking like he wants to hunt down Tempo. And he's got almost everything ready to go. His ultimate comes out, is going to do some damage. But Tempo does end up dropping the slowing field, which Seafield does not elect to walk through. So Tempo will walk out safely. But 2 members of the side of BBC will fall.
Yeah, that fight was definitely rough. Taco's just getting immediately ultimate chomped down by Inbred Loser. And you really have to be careful when you're playing into this Shogath, especially when you don't have a whole lot of health. Seafield trying to flash over the wall and get something, or MCC trying to flash over the wall and get something onto Seafield, but
yeah, Seafield might be caught here, and he is. Shutdown going over to Shenjiao is huge. MCC
yeah,
is
MCC also able to get out, so a good pick coming out from the side of Bush Wookiees. But one thing I want to point out, one of the points I was trying to make just a little bit earlier, Tempo being chased down by Seafield there, you know, he has a little bit more mobility than the Victor does, and I think that some people like the Q upgrade second for the additional kiting power, but if you're not really in a side lane for a while, it kind of loses its power. And Tempo having that slow, the upgraded W, would have meant that he would have gotten out a whole lot faster from Seafield chasing him down on that red side.
Yeah, now the question becomes, you know, what is Bush Wookiees' plan to come back into this game? They are losing the scaling match. The side of BBC nearly has a 6,000 gold lead. And, you know, this is not where you want to be if you're Bush Wookiees. You wanted to be aggressive in the early game, getting advantages when your team comp allowed them. Do you think that the answer becomes controlling Dragon stacking from here on out? And it just feels like a really hard task given the gold lead.
Yeah, it feels like an insanely hard gold lead. I honestly would say I need to see some picks. I need to see MCC and Tacos just choosing a lane and picking that lane, and preferably the lane closest to an objective, or if they're going to give up the objective, the lane on the opposite side. I really think that they need to be able to pick off. Both of the scaling members are going to be in a side lane for right now, at least for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And I really need to see Bush Wookiees find some good picks onto these members in order to save this game.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in. You pretty much have to be playing hyper aggressive, trying to look for picks wherever you can, especially before some of these big objectives, because the longer you just like sit back and and farm, which is kind of what we try to do whenever we're behind, the other team's just going to eventually get to the point where they're going to run you over.
For sure.
Here.
Now, there is definitely one objective, I think, that they have if they choose to contest for any of these particular objectives. Hooli trying to contest his life against Inbred Loser, but
yeah,
he's going to have to back out.
MCZ is taking a lot of damage here, but he shouldn't fall if he's able to dodge out of the middle of the ultimate, rather. And he's going to be able to... Oh, man, I thought that might have been enough. Smolder ultimate going over the top.
Definitely looking a little rough here from the side of Bush Wookiees. I think BBC has scaled a little bit faster than they were expecting, and now it's in a bit of a do-or-die situation. But what I was going to say earlier, if they do want to contest for some of these objectives, they really need to poke some of these members down. Maybe get a reset for Jinx on to Chicken Tuggy, but Smolder has scaled, and Crucy's just dead.
Yep, Smolder is scaled, and Bush Wookiees has taken the portal into their immediate death. That's going to result in an immediate dragon take by the side of BBC. They're going to go up 2-1 in terms of souls, or in terms of dragon count. Yeah, the more dragons you get, the happier that Seafill will be on this Smolder pick. I mean, the happier the entire team is going to be, really. And now that it is confirmed, it's going to be the Hextech Soul. That is an absolutely dangerous situation to be if you're on the side of Bush Wookiees. You do not want to go against a fed Smolder with Hextech Soul. It is nearly impossible to win those team fights.
Yeah, and Tempo's still going to be able to do a lot of damage, but unfortunately right now he only has two and a half items. He is going to be really close to that Leandries, and he is going to be able to do some decent damage to Inbred Loser, but it's just going to be so hard. Inbred can stand in front of his entire team, and there's not really a whole lot that Bush Wookiees can do about it at this point. Jinx is so far behind. Victor is still kind of behind. Hooli just does not have the tank stats with that early Triforce, and of course Xin Zhao can only disrupt the team fight for so long with his ultimate as well. It looks really rough for the side of Bush Wookiees right now.
Yeah, and I don't really see them trying to set up too many plays right now. I would really like to see if Bush Wookiees could start to rotate around, try to clear some vision to get some advantages somewhere where they can actually sneak around and get some picks. And I don't think this Baron is going to be contested at all. They have no idea they're even on this. They have an inkling of an idea, but I don't think they have the ability to even stop it, and it's going to go down before they even get there.
Yeah, it's just too late. There's definitely a play trying to come out on the Chicken Tuggies, but I don't think this is going to work out. She does have that Zanya's, and
it was a complete bait.
This may just be game.
It was a complete bait. She was, looked like she was Smolder. They thought that might have been Seafill standing there in the open. Surprise, surprise, it's not. And when you engage onto a Nico that is camouflaged, it allows her to get, obviously, the empowered ultimate. That's both the knock-up and the stun. And once that happens, just immediately pops into Hourglass, which allows the rest of BBC to come over and mop up the fight. So, that is what you're supposed to do. You want to be engaging on the champions when you feel like there is an advantage for yourselves, but I think it was just a little too obvious that wouldn't have been Seafill, just given the fact that they were on the Baron at the time.
Seafill does almost get hooked by MCC, but I honestly think Inbred and Save the Fishes trolled their team a little bit there. I think that was a potential end angle, and they do manage to get a mid lane inhibitor for it, but I really think they could have pushed for a whole lot more.
Could have pushed for a whole lot more. At the end of the day, I think sometimes teams just want to go the safer route. But I always like to say, hey, that the safest route is ending the game, right?
Yeah.
That game's over. There's
the
no
bets in most permanent CC is death. So
that's right.
If you win the game, that puts you up 1-0.
I do.
They are going to be looking for the Drake, though.
Yeah, Bush Wookiees is rotating towards the bot side, trying to get some early vision established. Save the Fish is doing what he can to clear some of that vision out. So I do like the look. I think that this is a good idea. Oh, Save the Fish is in the middle of 4 members. Let's see if he can survive long enough. And he does. He does so much burst damage. He's able to. He does end up dying, but takes out 3 tacos on his way out. Meanwhile, Tempo is going to get knocked up. Should be able to walk away, assuming that he has his Q available, and he's going to get a speed boost because of it. So, at the end of the day, a 1-for-2 for the side of BBC. They're going to be more than happy with that. BBC does walk away with the kill, like I said, so not completely lost, but it's looking so tough for their team to get anything in these fights. Save the Fishes did so much burst damage before he fell, and I mean, look at his build. It's completely armor pen.
Yeah, that is a lot of lethality coming out for the Jarvan, which means that Cruci and Tempo both have to be extremely careful in this matchup. If they get anywhere close to really any of these members at this point, Sonny Waffle, Phil, Save the Fishes, even Inbred Loser can probably take down Cruci pretty quickly. So I'm I'm a little worried. Phil though, not actually there. It is going to be Chicken Tuggies once again.
Yeah, gets a multi-man knockup, and that's going to be immediately follow up into the kill. Inbred Loser taking out MCZ. Hooli shortly there to follow. Another seemingly excellent setup by Chicken Thuggy to bait in more multiple members of Bush Wookies into thinking that Seafill was just out in the open. But I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again.
Yeah, but this this should definitely be an end angle from the
Look
side
at
of
that
BBC. Save the
damage!
Fishes is going in. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Goodbye.
Save the Fishes.
Bye.
Just like two-shot Cruci in the base there. BBC giving them the business. Even with this late game scaling comp, they're looking to end the game sub 30. 26 minutes in. Seafill 11, 2, and 3. 350 gold bounty. 400 gold bounty for Inbred Loser. There's bounties all around. I mean, BBC looking like the team that's on top.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see if the teams listen to our words of wisdom. Not literally, of course. I would hope they aren't on the stream. But you know, in a roundabout way, let's see, you know, if these bans change, whether the picks in the early game change. I mean, Bush Wookies electing for the same bans, and it looks like Big Bird Club will follow suit.
Yeah, Bush Wookiees electing to take the blue side, and I'm very curious to see what it is that they prioritize on this blue side. Of course, having that first pick can be really, really strong if you already have an idea of what you want to play around. And I think that first comp should kind of, or sorry, the first pick should kind of signal the kind of comp that they want to play for. So bans pretty similar from both sides. We're seeing a lot of support focus from Big Bird Club on the side of Bush Wookiees, still keeping that Mbessa, Dr. Mundo, and Syndra bans. So let's see what we have for this first pick.
Yeah, I would assume that we're going to see some early AD carries. We see the Ahri coming out for Bush Wookies, okay, signaling that they want to just have a very simplistic, multifaceted mid laner, very, very safe as a first pick, but there are a lot of options that Big Bird Club could elect to pick into it. Let's see if they also pick an early mid laner, although not very common, and they're just going to go ahead and grab the Sivir. So some scaling once again for Sunny Waffles.
Yeah, I actually really hate this Ahri first pick. I think she is a good champion, but I don't think that she is that high priority. I think if you are going to the reason that you pick blue side is specifically so that you can have a really strong early pick, and Ahri is just not it, in my opinion.
Interesting. So are you suggesting that there should be a sin counter for the Bush Wookies?
I am suggesting that. I think, like, on the side of Big Bird Club in that first draft, we saw the Smolder picked up early, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. Smolder, such a strong pick in the late game, is really contested between a lot of teams, and they did very well in picking it up early. Vex is going to be the answer into the Ahri, but I really don't think that Ahri is a strong enough champion to be first picking.
Interesting. No, I think that's a good point. If you're on blue side, you should be utilizing that first pick correctly. And so, yeah, the Ahri doesn't seem like the greatest use of that advantage. That being said, Kaisa going to be the answer into Sivir. And I would imagine that we're going to see some kind of tanky engage similar to Nautilus. But since Nautilus was picked last game, that's off the board. Maybe we'll see a Leona possibly, or even a Rel.
Yeah, I think.
But the Wukong,
I like the Wukong pickup here, actually.
Yeah.
And I think Bush Wookiees is opting to go for an even more aggressive team comp here than they did last time. But the worry that I have is, you know, they had some really good early looks, but they didn't really utilize them nearly as much as I would have wanted. And so if they're going to pick this team comp, we have to see them play aggressively. We have to see them making early moves around the map and finding, the kills in mid lane on the Vex with either a Leona or some other engage support. We really need to see the Wukong moving down to bottom lane to kind of unlock that support as well. So Talia, a good early pickup as well.
Yeah, Talia in the jungle. So that's a multi AP mid jungle duo. Fairly interesting. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of answer that Bush Wookies has against that. That being said, I feel like Vex Talia is really weird. Although it does make kind of sense. They both have the ability to kind of dive into a team. But you have to really pair that with some frontline or some disengage tools so that you're not just diving in as two squishy targets into, a team that is able to just blow you up instantly. So Sivir, backing those two seems a little odd. I actually do agree with you. I think Bush Wookies so far does have a kind of a better strategy that they're kind of electing for themselves. Although, of course, we disagree a little bit with the Ahri pick. Bans coming out for the side of Big Bird Club. We're going to see Ornn and Rel taking off the draft. So going to eliminate one of the options we were talking about. Bush Wookies bringing along with the Kaisa, whereas Bush Wookies will eliminate the Renekton and the Zillion. So they must know something about chicken thuggies that we don't know. Maybe a Zillion enjoyer on that side, but the Renekton obviously eliminating any kind of first pick easy time for top lane.
For sure. And honestly, I just kind of going back to that point, I think the irony is Wukong and Kaisa are both better and stronger picks first than Ahri. So the fact that they picked those up second is very interesting to me. But it is going to be the Skarner on Big Bird Club, answered by the Kennen. That is an interesting pickup.
Yeah, I like Kennen into Skarner. I think you first picking Skarner in the top side is really crazy. Don't
do that to me. Come on, man.
I like the Kennen a whole lot more. Sion is fine, but now this lane is just kind of eh. I
Sion
really
has some good engage though.
Yeah, no, he does. It's a fine pick. I just feel like into Skarner, there are so many other top lane picks that you could really punish it with. I would give a sin counter to Big Bird Club if Bush Wookies had taken advantage of it and picked the Kennen, but because they just elected to go Sion, doesn't really feel like that big of a mistake. The Galio picked up for Bush Wookies. Interesting. So this is going to be a Galio support into whatever is going to be grabbed right now, but by Big Bird Club, unless they really have something up their sleeves.
Yeah, I actually really like this draft from Bush Wookies. It has some really good identity. You have kind of the initiation on either Sion or Wukong.
Yeah.
You have Ahri to follow it up. You have Galio to follow it up. And then, of course, Set is going to be an interesting kind of...
BBC looking to win game 2 and close out the match, whereas Bush Wookies trying to come back and hopefully bring this to a game 3. I'm Blackmage. I'm joined by my co-host, Matrix. Matrix, how are you feeling so far?
Well, I gotta say, I really do love the Vex skin that Seafill has picked out. Such a great skin for Vex. And just for that, I kind of want to see them win this. I'm not gonna lie. Say the Fishes, though, in a bit of a spot here.
That's not where you want to be. He's certainly going to fall down. Bush Wookies with the first blood. That's the aggressive playmaking we want to see.
Yeah, and I think a bit of a good read from the side of Bush Wookies. Last game, there was a very aggressive move in the jungle for them, and this time it was just save the Fishes, but my goodness, did they punish?
Yeah, a great read by the side of Bush Wookies, understanding completely that they could take advantage of Save the Fishes possibly walking in there for some vision, and they take full advantage of it. And hey, Cruci walking away with first blood. You're gonna love that as the Kaisa.
Yeah, absolutely. That money went exactly where it needed to go, and I absolutely love to see it. I'm here for it. Huli, though, in the top lane, she was kind of on the other foot now. He's playing the tank into the more aggressive matchup as Seafill, getting very aggressive on the tempo.
Yeah, he should be able to get out of there by the virtue of having flash, but something that did happen during the loading screen that we did not report on before we took our short break. Chicken Thuggy taking the Talia into the bot lane. So Inbred Loser is going to be on set in the top versus Hu Lee's Scion. Save the Fishes is taking the oh my gosh, the Scorpion Man.
The Skarner is
Skarner.
going to be in in the jungle.
Thank God.
And I think that is the correct decision there. I think Talia going to be a lot more difficult to play in the top lane or in the jungle. But Chicken Tuggy is having a bit of difficulty. Oh,
gets the kill. Cruci with 2 kills to his name. I don't think that Chicken Thuggy really anticipated the amount of burst damage that would come out from the full stacked passive. What I was gonna say before that happened is that I'm just lucky that Captain Flowers isn't here to beat my ass for forgetting Skarner's name. That dude's huge, man. That guy's like 7'2". He'd kill you.
Oh yes, he is.
But yeah, I agree. Inbred Loser taking set into topside totally makes sense into the Scion. I think it's a really good switch. But that being said, I don't think that Chicken Thuggy and Sunny Waffle have ever had this matchup before. I feel like Galio is plenty fine into Chicken Thuggy. Galio into really any AP mage bot side is going to feel pretty good just by virtue of his kit and the MR that he provides. So, yeah, I think that Bush Wookiees, you know, they do have a harder time in the top side, but everywhere else seems to feel like they've kind of got the better side of this deal.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Tempo's having a little bit of trouble into C-Phil. That matchup is going to be very interesting to see. Ari and Vex, 2 champions that can go very aggressively on one another, and they both kind of want to do similar things in that lane, and I really want to see if C-Phil can get a little bit of an early advantage and then use that in other lanes. I really think that having them move the Vex down to bottom lane could make some of those fights a little bit more uneven, and of course C-Phil is able to rotate a little bit faster than Tempo with that ultimate.
Yeah, I agree. I think that C-Phil will have a better time in this lane. And yeah, if he can get some leads, definitely has the ability to roam and impact his fellow laners. Hoolies just going to catch this wave. But yeah, this bot side for Bush Wookies is something that we did not expect. You know, Cruci and MZC had a pretty, I wouldn't say lackluster, but didn't really show too much of what they were made of in the last game. But this game really come out swinging and already have quite a good lead for that Kaisa. We'll see if they can actually expand upon it. I want to see
the one thing
aggression.
they do need to be... Yeah, I do as well, especially with the lead that Cruci has already on that pickaxe, as opposed to a Caulfield's Warhammer coming out from the side of the Sivir. I really want to see Cruci take this lead and run with it. I think that this is going to be one of the best opportunities that they have. Taco's here to make another opportunity in the mid lane, but C-Phil has that passive. Oh!
Yeah.
Does not use it correctly. Lands the charm from Tempo.
Yeah, does get charmed. 3 tacos, looking like he wants to follow up for a little bit, but is going to eventually back off. C-Phil just hit level 6, so probably a good idea. Yeah, that was close. C-Phil did use those spells correctly. The flash forward into the fear is crazy. Tempo just barely gets out of there, but the ignite is used by C-Phil.
Yeah, I wonder where his ultimate went, because C-Phil's ult is currently on cooldown. Did not have it for that engagement, and I really think that that would have spelled the end of Tempo on that Ahri. But Save the Fishes down here. Taco's in response to the spot lane play.
Yeah. They're looking like they want to turn it. Cruci's got the burst damage. He can most certainly get a kill, and he does. Sunny Waffle's the first to fall.
This could be really bad, I think, for the side of BBC.
I think they're going to be able to get out of there, but just a great turn by MCZ in this game. Both supports, it feels like, have been showing out. Game 1 was Chicken Thuggy. Now it's MCZ, really showing some good play calling. Cruci, of course, taking the kill. That's where you want the kills going. If she's already ahead, why not keep going and stack it even further?
Yeah, definitely a bit of a misplay, not respecting the damage coming out from that Kaisa. There is a lot of it early, and I'm not entirely sure what it is that Cruci is building here. Does have some early AP with that Ether Wisp.
I don't think there's a pickaxe for Dusk and Dawn, is there? And so
no, I don't think so. I don't think Etherwith builds into it either. So I'm not quite sure what it is that we're gonna get here. Ooh.
There may be some build path we're not too familiar with for Kaisa specifically, where you can take advantage of the passive, the evolutions, possibly. By...
Chat has informed us it is Static Shiv, and I am gonna admit I'm not too familiar with that item since it has been reworked, but definitely a very good item with a lot of stats that Cruci wants on that Kaisa. So that makes a lot more sense to me now. Thank you, chat.
Yep, it makes total sense. You also completely get it that we are not talking to 280 carry mains. So, yeah, I mean,
for sure. Although, in another life.
Yeah, I recently swapped back to 80 carry, but I don't play Kaisa all that often, so I really don't build Static Shiv too much, but I feel like I should. That item is so strong in the current patch. That being said, Huli is here. He's going to try to put some more damage onto Ember Loser, who pops the shield immediately. Huli should be able to just run him down, especially if he lands a Q, but meanwhile in the mid lane, Seafil and Tempo are going at it. Inbred Looter is going to be able to flash away after a quick ultimate. He might be able to get away, but Huli's just going to slam down his hammer and get that kill onto Inbred. Tempo does have some pots burning, so Seafil's going to have to play a little bit safe to save the fishes back on the top side. Trying to get a return kill on Huli. Let's see if he can do it. He is grabbing him up with the ultimate, but Huli may be able to get away if his shield comes up. It doesn't look like he is, and Save the Fishes going to get the return kill on the top side.
Yeah, but once again, we see that top lane tank matchup not really going the way that it's supposed to go. Huli getting the early kill onto Inbred Loser, who did have the Ignite still, by the way. And I'm very surprised at how this early game is going, but very pleasantly surprised. I think Bush Wookies is showing a lot of signs of life here, and I want to see them continue to do it, to push this advantage, because my goodness, if this team gets ahead, it is going to be an absolute nightmare for the side of BBC.
100%.
Yeah, I want to see it. I really want to see it.
No, I feel like, as soon as the early game went well, it immediately told me one thing. Bush Wookies, don't ever pick scaling again. Just do this. Pick some really aggressive early game synergy and, make the best of it. And, this is one of those comps where, like you said, it's not even that much of an early game team. Kaisa's a threat all game. Huli's only going to get stronger on the Scion, right? MCZ on the Galio. That's a great support to have in the late game when you start getting your items. So,
yeah.
It's just like one of those teams that's just all around better than what they had drafted in game one. Makes a whole lot of sense, and we've got some more aggression coming out in the mid lane. Seafil might fall here if he's not too careful. Tacos Please does have the dash. He's going to get the kill. Save the Fish is trying to get something back.
Both supports are now here. Chicken Tuggy in some trouble.
Yeah, Cruci should be able to get the kill on to Save the Fishes. I believe the ultimate was just used, but 3 Tacos is here to get the final kill, going up to 2-0 on this champion, and an absolute disaster falls upon the shoulders of BBC. Bush Wookies showing what they got.
Yeah, I am very much in love with this early game from the side of Bush Wookies. They are making all the right moves. They are showing what they are capable of. And Cruci on that Kaisa, 3-0-1, does have the Static Shiv ready to go. My goodness, it is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, Seafil using the ultimate to get back into lane and do a ton of burst damage on the Tempo. Tempo, rightfully so, is going to back off Inbred Loser, trying to get some trade onto Huli before he gets tower damage. But that lane is really not going to ever result in too much until Huli does a full-on engage with his ultimate. Yeah, Static Shiv built for the Cruci. He's looking very strong. Oh.
Taco's looking to make some moves on this top side, but I don't think there's a whole lot to be done up here. I really want to see the mid lane balance out a little bit more. Tempo definitely having a bit of a rough time in that matchup against the Vex.
They look like they want a 4-man bot side right now.
Yeah, I really want to see. Cruci doesn't seem to have an idea of the Vex, but does back off.
Yep, Save the Fishes went over the wall, looking for some kind of opportunity on Cruci, but I don't think they're going to fall for any of those tricks. Meanwhile, the mid lane, that is so gross. Seafil just does one little combo, immediately gets Tempo down to nearly 30% health. that really is not going
Yeah.
to improve much until Tempo gets some items with health built into the stack. Chicken Thuggy saved the fishes looking for some kind of gank onto Tempo. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Tempo wisely backing off here, and MCC is close enough to use that ultimate, but does not quite have it up just yet. So I think calling off a play is the correct decision. They really don't want to do anything until that Galio ultimate comes back up.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Nothing really happening. I do like that BBC is trying to look for some of these angles, trying to catch some of these laners in isolation. We saw it earlier in the bot side, and then right just then in the mid lane. But unfortunately, or well, fortunately for the Bush Wookies, they are keeping track and are playing towards their strengths. They realize, hey, we don't see members of BBC on the map. We need to play a little bit more defensive. But Seafill with the flash forward, trying to get some kills on a Tempo. And one more auto attack would do it, but it looks like Tempo is going to be able to walk out. Oh, so close for Seafill.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hate what Seafill just did. That was not the way you play Vex. And quite honestly, I think that he kind of threw that fight. Speaking of throwing a fight, though, Chicken Thuggy in a really bad spot here.
Yeah.
He's going to go down to tacos.
Another kill claimed by 3 tacos. Please, 3 kills for 3 tacos. Sounds like some kind of dinner special. Meanwhile, on the top side, Huli's going to use his ultimate to become invulnerable, which basically negates the ultimate from the Skarner. It's pretty cool interaction.
Yeah, that was a
there.
really good interaction I wasn't actually aware of, but that's actually really cool to see Huli able to escape the ultimate quite easily.
Yeah. The tech is always cool to see, especially when it's on champions as boring as Scion. But meanwhile, Sunny Waffles, not the place you want to be, dies immediately after getting back into lane.
No.
And so is Chicken Thuggy. This is an absolute horror show. Bush Wookies putting on a clinic in the bot side. 9-1, nearly 5,000 gold ahead. I mean, what a reversal from what we saw from them in game 1.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see from the side of Bush Wookies. They took what we said, and they took it to heart. This is the aggressive team comp that I want to see, and this is exactly how I think Bush Wookies wins the game. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, right? Now that Sunny Waffle is really far behind on that Sivir, 0-2, compared to his lane opponent, who's 4-0-2, is kind of close, and you know, there's only about a half item difference, but what do you do on this Sivir come some of these later game team fights? Kaisa is just going to be all over your team, and you're never really going to get the chance to auto her. You pretty much just have to try and clear waves and hope that they don't pick off one of your important team members, because if they do, it looks rough.
Yeah, and Kaisa is one of those champions where not only does she do plenty of AD, but she does a nice mix of AP as well, so it's really hard to itemize against her. And so we see, you know, Set in this top side building health, and the same thing with Skarner. Well, Kaisa doesn't care about health. She does percentage damage through her passive, so she's going to cook through that real quickly, especially once she gets her Jinsus.
Yeah, and you've also got the two dragons stacked early for the side of
Tempo.
Bush Wookies. Oh,
Yeah, Tempo missed the taunt, and
using
that's
that
going to be a
ultimate.
shutdown.
Yeah, I really don't think you use the ultimate there. I think you just accept your death. There's not really a good way for you to get out of that particular situation, but
Yeah, I feel like as soon as your taunt misses, you have to use your ultimate to get out of there, but just stays around a little too long, eventually gets stunned up by Save the Fishes, and will fall to Seafill. So a bit of life injected into BBC after a pretty rough early game. Seafill is going to be more than happy with that. Hopefully for them, takes full advantage. That being said, Bush Wookies still have plenty to be thankful for.
yeah,
Kaisa.
definitely taking that turret in the mid lane first does sting a little bit for the side of the Kaisa. You really wanted that first turret with all the damage that you were doing down there early, but just not able to get it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. That being said, Tempo still holding on far better and playing a far better game than what we saw in game 1. Being only 0-1 with 4 assists. That's not anything to scoff at. He's been around the map helping out his team as much as he can. So, nice to see from him. It is a bit of an improvement. I want to
It
see.
is itemizing a bit more standard than we saw last night.
Yeah.
Last night, saw the Blackfire Torch on that Ahri, and I personally don't really agree with that build, but I also think that Ahri is in such a weird state right now. There's not really items that benefit her greatly, so Malignant's kind of the only other option, and that's what Tempo's opted to build.
For me, if I see a master player building in a way that gets them to be nearly 20-0 in a league game or a league competitive game, I am going to probably say that that person knows more than I do. But yeah, I agree. I hated it too. Tempo gets ulted on. He's probably going to fall here.
Oh, MCC coming in though.
Hey, that's a great counter pick into that we're basically seeing in action, the counter pick into the Vex, right? If Vex ults someone, you just MCZ ults on top of them. The Galio fully protects the oncoming burst damage, and we finally got to see it in action right there. So
yeah, great moves from the side of MCC, just protecting the rest of his team there, making sure that nobody goes down, and they will try to start up this Herald. Save the Fishes is in the area, and he is pretty healthy, but I don't really know if they want to take this fight right now. Kai'Sa being on the other side of the map does help them out, but Wookies is definitely a little bit stronger.
I actually think this is where you want to take the fight because of the fact that Kai'Sa's on the bottom side of the map. You don't really do anything with Sivir. They steal it. They steal the Rift Herald. Save the Fishes might be able to get out because he's going to run through the wall. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Come on, man. You have got to win your smite fights there. That's got to be really frustrating if you're on the side of Bush Wookiees.
Really frustrating, and it's just one of those things where it's like, as soon as you know that the Skarner may be potentially coming to contest, just turn and kill him. You don't need to continue to kill the Herald and flip it. You've got 4 members on your team. I think that I agree. Just a bit of a misplay by the side of Bush Wookiees. That being said, still a sizable lead, nearly 2K, and most of that being on the Kai'Sa. So as long as you play around the Kai'Sa, you're going to be in a good spot. If you're not around the Kai'Sa, game feels a little bit more even, and we saw that kind of in action right there.
For sure. I still think there's some pretty respectable damage coming out of that Wukong, and of course, Huli on that Scion is going to be able to live for quite a while, is doing so against inbred losers. Set here up in the top lane, but it's going to be rough, and there's now a
surely they're
fight
not going to
around
get
this
dragon. This would give them sole point.
Yeah, I really think Set is TPing down, but does get canceled by Huli.
Ooh,
good look from him.
Yeah, good catch on that. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. They find the perfect engage onto Cruci, and with that, I think Bush Wookiees has to turn tail and run. What an excellent play, but Seafill ain't done. He's following up immediately with a second kill onto MZC rather. 3 tacos to fall shortly thereafter, and it's absolute disaster for Bush Wookiees. The worst thing possible happened. Matrix, how could they?
Oh, that was so rough to watch. I am so sad. It was a 4v4 for both of these teams, and honestly, Kai'Sa stepping up when she has no idea where the Vex is. You can't be doing that if you're Cruci. You have got to stay hidden until you know exactly where that Vex is going to come from.
Yeah, it just felt like they weren't communicating correctly of how they wanted to approach that fight. Cruci was nowhere near the rest of his team, just immediately gets pinned out by an excellent play from Save the Fishes. And really, Seafill and Save the Fishes probably communicating the most there for the side of BBC, getting that nice pick, resulting in not only the dragon, but a turn in the gold lead. We're now seeing a 2K gold lead in the opposite direction.
Yep, and Tempo is going to add to that gold lead, just immediately falls to Seafill's Vex. And I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I think both Vex and Kai'Sa want to play this pretty much in the same way, right? You really want to stay hidden until some CC is used, until some people get in a tough position, and then you just ultimate over the top, just like that. You really want to wait until somebody else marks a champion for you, and then you're able to go in, right? Because if they're already CC'd, Cruci is going to have a lot easier time applying that passive, stacking up, and dealing that burst damage that we know Kai'Sa is capable of.
Yeah, I agree. And Seafill staying just a little too long gets punished for it, and all that gold goes back onto Cruci. Cruci with the shutdown there. It's definitely a bittersweet feeling if you're on the side of Bush Wookies, having such a terrible fight go the way of BBC, but at least you're able to get that shutdown onto Kaisa immediately after. Yeah, if you're on Bush Wookies, you're really just, I feel like, needing to just tighten up your gameplay, right? Make sure that you're making the correct calls. Communicate a lot more before these objective fights to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time. And if you're Cruci, you really need to be on the ball, ensuring that you know where the divers are on the side of BBC.
Yeah, I definitely need to see Cruci playing a little bit more safe. He is the damage. He is the gold. Does have 3 full items on this Kaisa now. Dusk and Dawn, Static Shift, and Guinsoo's.
Yeah, he's huge.
All set up.
Inbred Loser's dead.
And Inbred Loser, in a bit of a tough spot here, does have to flash away. Is going to do a lot of damage and tries to use the ultimate, but just is not able. And Tempo now in a rough spot.
Tempo,
that Galio ultimate is not going to be enough.
Yeah, that was a little greedy by Tempo. I'm not too sure why that he decided to run that way through mid lane, not having vision. That being said, a huge engage by the save the fishes. They're going to take out Cruci again. And with that, 3 Tacos is trying to return a kill onto Chicken Thuggy. Seafill running for his life. Hu Li is just going to not really do much of anything as Seafill does a ton of burst damage on the 3 Tacos. That's 4 dead for the side of Bush Wookies. And seemingly a nice catch turns into another disaster.
Yeah, I actually really hate the way Seafill played that particular fight. He saw that his ADC got marked by Seafill, does stand close to him for a couple of seconds, but just not nearly long enough, and Seafill does find the ultimate onto Cruci, is able to force out his flash and eventually take him down, but Tempo...
Hey, got the shutdown onto Seafill. Let's see if he can do anything else to Sunny Waffle. It's possible. But definitely not going to win the smite fight.
Yeah, they still take this Baron here, and Chicken Thuggies is coming in, but Seafill gonna try to help out his mid laner a little bit.
Yeah,
and a good kill back, good identification from the side of Tempo there. I really like that play, but not able to stop the Baron, and it's gonna be a 4K gold lead in the other direction, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
Seafill putting in some work here.
If we can, I feel like we have enough of a lull moment where we can actually see what exactly happened there. But I really do want to check out how the Kaisa fell. I would imagine it's because they engaged and immediately got caught by the Skarner. So we're going to see it right here. Cruci, watch and pay attention to him. Gets ulted by Seafill. And immediately gets turned on, but is able to flash out. And it looks like Save the Fishes just landed a 2-man ultimate on him. He just wasn't paying attention, and it caught him.
Yeah, and that's part of what I was saying, right, with what MCC did there. I really, really hate the fact that he walked away from his Kaisa while the Kaisa was still marked by that Vex ultimate. I think that you have to be there. You just have to sit on top of your Kaisa until that mark goes away. It doesn't last for that long. It's about 5 to 8 seconds. But
I think we missed something. I think we missed another bit of a fight here.
Oh, no team fight. It looks like it was mostly just a little bit of posturing, and then BBC was able to pick up that next Drake. But like I was saying before, you have to sit on top of your Kaisa. If Kaisa has flash when, say, the Fishes tries to ultimate him, there's no world in which he ever gets the ultimate off. But here we go again.
Yep, Seafill going to take this bot tower. A lot of towers really taken at this point by the side of BBC. This is something that they were doing very well in the last game as well. Hu Li gets jumped on by Save the Fishes. It shouldn't result in too much, but they're pulling the trigger. Chicken Thuggy, with the ultimate, knocks Hu Li over the wall. He should be able to just walk on out of there.
Yeah, and it's really starting to look rough for the side of Bush Wookies. They had some really good early looks. They had some really good early plays, but unfortunately just not enough team play to really keep this Kaisa accelerating, and I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really, really worried about the state of this game.
I'm worried as well, and now with 2 Mountain Drakes on the side of BBC, they're going to be that much harder to actually burst down in the Kaisa. Not to mention, Cruci is electing to grab the Hourglass as the 4th item, going more of the defensive build early to prevent possibly dying after getting grabbed by, say, the fishes, which, you know, teach their own. I think it is a good decision, but it also means that you really got to start, you know, planning for these fights, because seemingly twice in a row, when it really mattered, Cruci has gotten grabbed by Save the Fishes, and it doesn't seem like the team is really necessarily doing much to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I think if you are Cruci, you really just have to start playing smarter. You have to understand when you can go in and when you cannot. And
Yeah.
up to this point, we've definitely seen some good looks. MCC having to flash away from a good look from Cphil, but you really have to understand when you can go in and when you can't. Right now, Cphil can pretty much go in wherever he wants. Right, he has that full Zanyas. He's really strong. He is doing a lot of damage. He's able to go in when he wants, but. Oh, I don't know about that one, buddy. I don't think you can finish that kill, and now you just don't have the ultimate to save yourself.
It seems like a little bit of desperation. I like the idea. I do want to give some credit. It looked cool, right? If he does get the kill there, it is a great play, and if he doesn't, he just looks like a dingus. Unfortunately, it was the dingus approach that he took, and yeah, that is just so tough. Now with Cruci down, this should be an easy take onto this mid lane. 3 tacos falls. Tempo is not going to be able to do much against Save the Fishes. They're probably going to end up getting the inhibitor. He's going to get slammed back into the team. Is this a possible game over angle?
I think it is, with Tempo going down there. Hooli, the only person left, and he's not really going to be able to clear this wave fast enough. I really feel like this is the end of the game. MCC does respawn in time, but
I think they should be able to repel
let's see if him and Cruci can get anything done.
Well, yeah, watch Cruci. If Cruci gets grabbed, it's all over. He knows it, too. He's staying back to save the Fishes as best he can. MZC is going to fall shortly thereafter. Inbred Loser in the front line, trying to do what he can. Drops a shield, and Cruci takes massive damage. Hooli is in the back line, trying to keep all 4 members at bay. The tower is sending Save the Fishes, rather. Cruci gets the shutdown and eventually gets the 2nd kill. They are actually doing it. Wookies is fighting off BBC. A triple kill over to Cruci. He's going to get the quadra. Is this going to be the first pentakill of the league? Ember Loser doing what he can to jump out of here, and he does. I got tongue-tied there over Save the Fishes, but what definitely didn't get tongue-tied is Cruci on a freaking killing spree.
Yeah, Hooli doing an amazing job of just standing in front of his ADC, doing his job, soaking up as much damage and CC as possible, and that's exactly what they needed to do in this really disparate situation. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying before, right? You really need this Scion to just stand there and take as much as possible, and they finally managed to do it.
Yeah, took their time. Cruci managed to, you know, like you just said, backstep effectively, stay out of the range of Save the Fishes, and just blow him up first. I mean, hell, why not? You do so much max health damage and so much sustained damage that you might as well just fight front to back. And I feel like if Bush Wookies, you know, they might have the winning formula now. Fight front to back, kill whoever is trying to dive onto Cruci, and you just end up winning the fight off of it.
Yeah, the only problem is BBC here for that Drake first. They will lose the Baron, but I think putting themselves on Soul Point is going to be a lot more enjoyable for this team. In 33 minutes, they could be they could be a lot harder for this Kai'Sa to kill.
Yes, yeah, the dragon stacking is not good from the perspective of Bush Wookies. They do have the Baron, so they're going to be able to repel a lot of the aggression into their base. They're going to be able to basically farm up for the next 3 minutes for free, which is going to feel good, especially if you're Tempo. You're trying to get your 3rd item, which is going to give you a lot more survivability. Hopefully you don't get bursted down as quick by Cphil, who seemingly is just doing that every single team fight. But
yeah,
man,
I really need to see Cruci stay away from this Vex. I think that if Vex gets onto the Kai'Sa, the game is just over, and they're walking in now trying to make that happen.
Yeah, watch 3 tacos. He's looking for a flank right now. He is about to approach Cphil, and he gets on top of them, but he's quickly feared. Now Hooli is on top of Save the Fishes, who can't get over the wall. MCZ is taking out Sunny Waffle. Let's see if they can get anything else, and they don't, but a great flank by 3 tacos nets them 2 kills. Or 1 kill.
Yeah, Yeah, 1 for 0 is really good at this state in the game. Tempo is going to be able to farm up a little bit, and they are going to be able to push out these waves. The Baron minions into the supers is going to be a little bit hard for the side of BBC, but
Cruci
Inbred
is
Loser
gonna
now
get
looking for the
grabbed.
flank.
Oh no, just
Oh,
immediately gets bursted. Let's see if MCZ is able to get out. It doesn't look like he might be able to. Hooli teleports in just to prevent more slaughter from occurring and save the fishes. Does take a lot of damage, but with Cruci down, that is opening up a lot of avenues for BBC.
yeah, 40 seconds left on that Kaisa. They're going to have to stall for so much time. Their bot lane is being shoved in. Their mid lane is on the way as well. And with that inhibitor about to come back up,
They do have Baron, but I don't think it's going to be on there for much longer.
yeah, they might still be able to hold with these Baron minions, but it's gonna be rough.
Okay, Cruci is
And
up
I
in 8
just want to point
seconds.
out that
Hey,
right now there's a 666 for the side of BBC. We'll see if that spells the end of
Yeah.
Bush Wookiees.
Yeah, exactly. You know, maybe some bad luck. We're gonna have to wait and see. Cruci's back up though, so they are quite happy, and it looks like BBC is definitely going to go back and reset, spend some of the gold that you've just acquired. Dragon is up in 2 minutes, so we do have some lull time before then. Three Tacos is looking for something. He knows they're backing, and they have awkward back timers. But Save the Fishes and Chicken Thuggy just gonna walk on out of there.
Yeah, I'm now a little bit worried for both of these teams. It doesn't really seem like BBC knows how to close this game out. They haven't really formulated the correct strategy, even though they do manage to kill off the Kaisa. It just seems like without Sunny Waffle, they're not able to really push in. And now they're allowing Bush Wookiees to get some vision on the Drake that is coming up very, very shortly. And this could be the last team fight in a minute and a half.
Yeah, I think if you're on Bushwookies, you really need to make sure that you have control of this objective. And but here's the thing: they're not doing it. They're not over there. They're pushing out mid, which you do need to do. But I would like to see Sion pushing out bot lane and start to approach from that bot side river, just to gain a very firm hold on that objective. Set will be pushing the top side, which may be another angle that BBC has in the woodwork. But Three Tacos looking for some kind of engage. Doesn't look like it's going to work out.
Yeah, Hooli finding the angle onto Seafill does not have a whole lot of damage besides that unending despair, so does need to be a little bit careful into this Vex, but both of the inhibitors respawning for Bushwookies means that they're a lot safer to push out some of these lanes and be out here. I think Inbred Loser being on the top side of the map without, he does have TP, but they need to make something happen.
Yeah, Sion is backing to respond to Inbred Loser. Inbred Loser immediately realizes this and is starting to back off, but as soon as they see Sion in the base, this could be a go button for BBC. Three Tacos trying to dive in. There's a quick ultimate follow-up by MZZ that seems like a wasted opportunity. Chicken Thuggy will fall soon after, but both Cruci and Three Tacos get grabbed. MCZ is low on health, but is still there, peeling for Cruci. Save the Fishes, trying to dive down Cruci, but he's able to back off. There's an ultimate that comes down from Set onto MCZ. They're eventually going to get on Cruci, and with this, MCZ is surely going to fall along with Cruci shortly thereafter. And man, an awful play at the end of the day by Bushwookies. It seemed like it was starting out really good, but they only were able to get one target. Tempo here is going to fall, and that's a quadra kill for Seafill, silently assassinating all of the members for Bushwookies in the backside of the game. And that might just spell the end of it for Bushwookies. An excellent team fight by BBC.
I'm going to be so for real right now. I actually really, really, really hate that decision by Bushwookies. You have your top laner who does not have TP back to try to match the set who does have TP, meaning that you are in a 3v4 at the very least, turning into a 4v4 set chooses TP, and in fact he did. That will be the end of the game. That decision costs them everything. Yoink.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with the player of the game, Seafill himself. Seafill, how are you feeling coming off of that fresh 2-0 victory over Bushwookies?
Pretty good. I mean, definitely got a little dicey there in the second game, but I think the team played well, and we got through it, so couldn't be happier.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that Vex catch onto Kaisa at the what was it, the second or third Drake, that was definitely critical. And I think you played it really well.
Oh, with the blast cone? Yeah, I think we were
Yep.
just
Yeah.
started sitting there waiting, and eventually she walked up, and it was just a good pick that got us back in the game.
You know, something that I have identified fairly quickly that is fairly unique to your team in this league is I feel like the jungle mid synergy that you and Save the Fishes have is pretty incredible. You two probably have more synergy than most of the teams, especially those at the top of the ladder. Is this something that you developed over the course of a long time, or is this something that's kind of new founded that is bringing you so much success?
Yeah, I mean, look, Save the Fishes and I have been playing for like almost a year now. We met in a solo queue when I beat him. Let the record show. But ever since then, we've like been duo queuing and playing a lot, so we definitely have some innate synergy. And it always takes games like that one to really lock into it. So hopefully more to come. But
Awesome. Matrix.
Yeah, you guys are doing really well. You're at the top of the standings. I think all of your teammates look really solid. It was actually a little bit difficult to choose player of the series. I think that Chicken Thuggies posing as you for multiple team fights in that first game definitely helped you win the game. But man, your Smolder performance very good, especially into Victor, which can be a bit of a difficult matchup. And Vex and Ari, played that one very well.
yeah, I mean, like on Chicken Thuggy, she is just always looking for the picks. Like has the angles, has the plays. Rely on her a lot for the engages. So definitely a peak performance there. And then with Waffles and Red Loser, they're always consistent, and the consistency is really key when you have volatile people like myself. So
Awesome. I just have to ask, how were the player comms in that game two with such a rough beginning? You know, Kaisa's up nearly 4 kills. It's got quite a big lead in that bot side. You know, who's the driving force? Who's doing most of the communication to keep everyone on task to pull out these, late game victories?
yeah, Ryan, Save the Fishes definitely keeps us together. He knows how to call, when to make moves, and try to track the macro. Most of the time, we just try to solidify our mental and farm it out, and just hope that we can find a chance, like the pick on the Kaisa. I mean, we knew I think that drag fight was the real pivotal point, and we knew we were strong, so we were calling for the play, and it just so happened to work out. So we just tried to buckle down and wait it out pretty much.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had. Matrix, did you have any any to follow up with? No?
No, I'm really excited to see you guys play again, and I definitely GG's to Bush Wookies, but you guys definitely look like one of the strongest teams in the league right now. So I'm excited to see y'all play again.
You know what?
Yeah,
That actually does remind me. I do have one more question. I'm so sorry to cut you off, Seaful.
Sure thing.
Your team is often considered top 3 alongside both Baggy Pampers and Silvermanes, but I think everyone is dying to know, who do you think is the better team between Silvermanes and Baggy Pampers? Because of course you're going to say that your team BBC is the number 1, but who do you think is number 2 between them?
I mean, hey, like I really pay attention to mid the most, and I'm very much looking forward to my matchup against Death Star. So
okay,
I would say Baggy Pampers, but that's from a mid point of view. So you'd probably have to ask the rest of the team for everyone else.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming in and for joining in for this interview. Really appreciate you, and congratulations on the win.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the casting. Have fun.
No worries.
Yeah.
Just